Hey guys, welcome back to Sun and Eos.
Welcome back.
Gaming.
To termites.
Oh
Other
my
dimensions.
God, the fucking termite speech.
Kidnaps.
I certainly was not expecting that.
I know.
How could that have anything to do with kidnapping us? Shit. I kicked out at a nearby shelf. Fuck you, shelf.
10 minutes remain.
All right.
Play if no.
Oh, crap. I need to get back.
Sorry, I'm adjusting my heat pack.
Oh, you're good. Not like there's any point in staying here. I'm adjusting my existence.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
I spun around and ran out of the room toward the warehouse. I like this track too.
Yeah.
Look, Mr. Sigma's back.
Took you long enough.
You got a lot of energy for people who haven't eaten, drunk anything, or like... Anyway. Where are the others?
In the AB rooms.
They went in already?
Yep.
Why didn't you two? Have you been waiting for me?
Yeah. Grandpa said there was something he had to tell you before we voted, no matter what.
Oh?
Nothing that significant. Just wanted to tell you we're going to choose ally this round. That's it.
And you had to tell me that no matter what? Seems kind of pointless. I mean, words are cheap. You can promise whatever you want.
True, but we've got something to back it up. Just hear me out.
Okay, go ahead.
Quark and I both have 8 BP. We're already on the home stretch. So what do we need to get to the magic number? Well, we need you to choose ally. If you do that, it doesn't really matter to us what we pick.
You get to 9 whether you got 2 or 3 points.
Yeah.
Exactly. That being the case, we don't have any reason to betray you. And if we both choose ally, we both gain points.
They're gonna leave. True, but you must have considered that I'll choose betray. That would mean you'd choose betray to protect yourselves.
But that's why we're telling you we won't choose betray.
Because that has worked so many times in this game. Can I trust you?
Of course.
I don't know, dude. Alright, tell me one thing. Let's say we do this and both ally, everybody gets 2 points. That means you and Quark will have enough to leave, which is great for you. But I'll be stuck with a measly 5. How do I know you aren't going to just open the number 9 door and leave us in the lurch?
I can guarantee it.
How?
I can give you my word. I will not open the number 9 door, even if I have enough points to do so. I swear it. We aren't going to abandon everybody else just so we can escape.
I swear too. I promise.
I don't believe you guys for a fucking minute. So all you've got is a promise, huh?
When I make a promise, I keep it.
No, you
Trust
don't.
me.
Please! You've gotta trust us!
Okay, I trust you. Whatever. I'll trust you.
2
Alright, let's do this.
minutes
What are we gonna do?
Until Ambidex's game.
Oh, you want me to pick?
closes.
Yeah, what do you want to pick?
Let's just ally for
Counting
now.
on you, Sigma.
You gotta choose ally! You promised!
Oh my god.
Well, actually, they're gonna leave.
Well, we have to factor in that there are lots of other people who are.
You know what? They're gonna fucking leave. Let's betray them, because then they would lose points. Because they're gonna pick betray, so they can only lose or get 0 points on this one. Because they're gonna hit betray, because they're not gonna trust us to do the right thing. I know Tenmyoji, he's not gonna ally, and I don't want him leaving, so we're betraying him. See you later, dude. He's gonna get really mad at us, but I'm sick of getting the game over endings where people leave.
Until Ambidex's game.
Are you?
We're gonna have to go back and do it anyway, but... No, because if we hit betray and he hits betray, they can't leave. And I
Yeah.
guarantee you he's gonna hit betray just to ensure that they get the points.
I had a decision to make. Should I trust Quark and Tamioji? Well, I could believe they were telling the truth and still betray them. That would bring my BP to 6.
Yeah.
I'd be that much closer to 9.
Yep.
And choosing betray would guarantee that they wouldn't try and escape without the rest of us.
That's my point with this.
Betraying seemed like a safe bet, but
Please! You've gotta trust us.
Yeah.
You've gotta choose ally.
Okay.
You promised.
it's a matter of, okay, without giving anything away, we are on the cusp of a true ending. So, Tenmyuchi I can
I don't know which one to
enough,
pick
but
to get
Quark,
that though.
Do you
So-
would you like to head down the true ending route first, or do you want to?
I like to be in the dark. I want to betray them.
Okay, let's just betray them then. I want you to.
Seconds remain.
Okay.
9,
I don't trust them.
8,
I think they're gonna leave.
6, 5, 4,
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Well, then we shall betray
Betray.
on Solid Sun's insistence. There, BB.
Round 3. Results. Thank you. Ambidex Gate.
And now we'll know if we could have actually trusted them. If they hit betray, then, you know, the truth will be out.
Results. Please.
And I don't trust them. But I'd be happy to be proven wrong.
All right, betray ally. Oof.
See?
No, you're onto stuff. All right, so
now
Clover.
no one can. Oh, Clover's got. How the hell did she get 11? Oh boy, that's a lot of points. Okay, so she's just gonna leave now, probably.
Points.
Is Alice still alive here in this one? No, she's dead.
She's dead. Yeah.
She's dead. Okay. Hey, what's the deal?
Quark had nothing to do with it. I entered the vote.
So why'd you choose betray?
Couldn't I ask you the same thing? I don't really think this is the time for a fight, though. Look, Clover's over by the door.
What?
What? Of
Your
course.
face.
Again.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I'm not surprised,
The
but
number 9 door.
Fuck, she opened it.
Ugh! Why? Clover, wait!
the other thing is, like, we know it's a barren wasteland out there, so it's actually better to be down here.
I'm going to call the others.
What?
I'll get justice for Alice.
Justice. Wait, do you mean? So she's in her own world right now. We don't know who these others are.
I see.
We can infer though.
The number 9. It will read.
Time for me to go. No! Please, Clover, wait!
Like hell, I'm just gonna let you walk out of here.
Dio leapt at Clover, his fists raised. Clover easily avoided him and moved toward the door, because Dio sucks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I caught one last glimpse of her face as she slid through the door. It was a mask of ice. Alright, well, I'm not entirely surprised that this happened.
So assuming that everyone votes the same, we know that Clover's getting out one way or another.
Well, we know they're all getting out one way or another, except for Phi, who stuck around with 9 BP. If you
No, I
remember.
mean on this route.
On this
I'm
route.
talking about this
Okay,
route.
alright.
Number
We know that Clover
9
ends up
has
with
flown.
more than enough.
This
Yeah.
end. Thank you. As the game is over, escape, please enjoy.
All right. All right. So we knocked out the bad ending first.
Wow, you don't even get like Sigma's reaction to that at the end. That's just a, okay, guys, move on. All right, let's go back and ally with Tenmyuchi then. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll bring us closer to other unlocks. Or we're gonna get locked out of this, I don't know. Can we skip through all this?
All right. Time to ally.
He's gonna have enough to leave though now. Unless he keeps his promise to not open that door.
Results from please.
All right.
Son of bitch. Clover's gonna leave anyway.
Yeah. Remember that he promised only to not open the door.
Please check.
Oh my god, dude.
All right. Well, this
Back
is
down to 1 BP. Hey! What the fuck? Why'd you guys betray
Quark
me?
had nothing to do with this. I made the vote.
Okay.
Grandpa.
Alright, fine. Why'd you break your promise, Tenmyoji?
I only promised you one thing. We wouldn't open the number 9 door, even if we got 9 points.
What? So you're not going to leave?
Not what I said. Of course we're going to leave.
What?
See Clover over there?
How is this a true ending? Don't tell me. You liar.
I'm not a
You
liar.
lied. You said we're on
It's
the
not
route
the
to-
true ending. It's not the true ending. It is an ending. Just watch and see.
Crystalias is pulling my leg for like 40 episodes.
What are we like episode 60 something at this point, right?
70.
Oh.
This is episode 70.
Wait.
The words were barely out of her mouth when Tenmyoji and Quark ran past. You're like in a shell shock.
I'm so sick of your
What? I didn't do anything.
Clover, are you really going to? Well, yeah. Why else would I open the door?
But why?
I'm going to go call the others so we can capture Zero Senior. Tenmyoji, are you and Quark going too?
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
So Sigma, happy? Kept my promise. Clover opened the door, not me.
You asshole. What a motherfucker. That's some shady shit, Tenmyoji.
You say so. I have to get out of here, and that's that. He's got to pay for what he's done. He? Zero.
You mean you know who Zero Senior is?
Yeah. No point keeping it a secret now, I suppose. I know exactly who Zero Senior is.
What?
It's getting dangerous. Okay. So he saw the hologram and put two and two together, so he found out which...
It will remain open.
Let's go.
Wait.
Come on, guys. Time to move.
Right.
What?
Oh, wait.
Tenmyoji saw the hologram.
This is for
Okay.
you, Mr. Sigma.
Quark held something out. I looked
think
down
I'm
to
not
see
gonna
two
say
pieces of
anything, but
folded
I
paper.
think what I think. All right, I think I know the whole plot of this game now.
What is this?
It's
Don't
a letter.
say anything
I'm
yet.
not gonna say
I
anything.
wrote it in the director's office before the AB game. I wanted to tell you what kind of guy Grandpa is. So, read it, okay?
He pressed
He
it
pre-
into my hand.
Yeah, you can read this.
See you later, Mr.
Yeah.
Sigma.
Unsurprisingly, we're going to read this letter. I'm happy to read that because it's a little long. Then he turned and ran toward the door, Tenmyoji and Clover following in his footsteps. I was so surprised by the letter that I didn't even try to stop them. Before I could think of anything to say,
See you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
that's it. It's over.
The number 9. This ends. Thank you. As the game Escape, please enjoy.
Every time. I just figure we know what she's saying.
Shit, they're gone.
All we can do now is hope they bring help back.
Indeed.
I agree.
I looked down at Quark's letter and slowly unfolded it.
Alright.
His handwriting was still slightly uneven, but he'd filled both pages with writing I began to read.
Okay.
My God.
It was a really stormy day when he found me. He said the rain was coming down so hard it almost hurt, but somehow he managed to hear a baby crying. I guess I must have been crying pretty loud. He took me home and did his best to raise me, But he'd never been married or had a kid before, so I think it was really hard for him. He couldn't figure out how to mix the formula, so he was always carrying the directions around with him. Also, I guess I was a pretty picky eater, so if he didn't get the water to formula ratio just right, I wouldn't eat it. I guess I was kind of a pain, huh?
Was kind of a pain.
But he didn't give up, and now here I am. When he found me, I was really, really small, and he was worried that I might not make it. That's why he named me Quark. A quark is a really, really small thing, and I was really, really small too. Grandpa didn't need to worry though, because it turned out that I was pretty tough. When I was 1, he forgot I was sleeping in the bed of his truck and drove off. I rolled out and went off the back, but I didn't even get scratched.
Oh yeah.
It's like Maggie.
That's really good parenting.
I started walking when I was 2, and when he wasn't looking, I fell down the stairs. I didn't get hurt then either. When I was 3, I got really sick. I had a super high fever for a week, but eventually I got better. I guess you could say I'm pretty lucky. Anyway, I didn't really have any more accidents after that, and I was a pretty healthy kid. By the time I was 6, I'd started helping Grandpa out with his work. His job was to gather junk from abandoned buildings. Then he'd fix it up or pull out the useful parts and sell them. There were plenty of abandoned buildings, but finding good stuff in them was hard. You had to know which parts were useful or you could end up wasting a bunch of time. Every time I'd find something, he'd explain to me what it was, how it was supposed to work, how to fix it, all sorts of things. Usually though, I just wanted to finish up work so I could go to the theater. The theater came to our town once a week in a wagon. They'd show old news or movies. I went every single week, but Grandpa only went once in a while, and he'd only go weeks when they showed movies. Oh yeah, I didn't know that I'd been adopted until I was 7. One of the other kids on my block told me. I guess after Grandpa found me, he looked all over town to try and find somebody who'd take me. The kid from my block actually had a mom, and he'd asked her if she would take me too. I gotta admit, I was pretty shocked when I heard that. There weren't a lot of kids with parents around, so hearing that someone lived with his actual mom was pretty impressive. I was also kind of surprised that Grandpa had tried to get someone else to take me. Did that mean he didn't want me? So it's painting a really grim picture. The kid who told me about Grandpa trying to get rid of me was a real jerk. He was totally spoiled, and he'd brag to everybody about how he had a mom. He liked to come up to me while I was working and say stuff like, "Must be hard not having a mother." It never bothered me before, but after I found out that Grandpa had adopted me, I started to think that maybe he really didn't want me. If I could work on my own, then he could get rid of me. I was scared to know the truth, so I never asked him. Then one day, he took me to a bar in our neighborhood. During the day, of course. He went there sometimes to drink scotch, but I'd never gone before. When we got in, he just walked up to the counter with that grumpy look he has, and I thought, oh no, he's gonna make me work here. But I was wrong. I saw him pass something to the bartender, and then he picked me up and set me down on the stool next to the counter. The stool was pretty high, especially for a 7-year-old, and my legs just dangled off of it. It seemed really, really high to me, and I was pretty nervous. Eventually, the bartender came back over with a glass of scotch and another big glass full of something else. As I looked closer, I realized that the second glass was full of some sort of brown liquid with a scoop of ice cream in it. It took me a minute to realize what it was. A root beer float. I'd never seen one before. I was so surprised. Root beer was even more expensive than the nicest alcohol in the bar. To me and the other kids, it seemed more like an urban legend than a real drink. But there it was, right in front of me. I stared at the float. I still wasn't sure it was real at that point, and then turned to look at Grandpa. He looked back at me. I didn't know what to do, so I turned to the bartender. He'd already turned around and moved off, though, so I figured he must have put the glass down in front of me on purpose. It still didn't seem like it could be real, and I was just staring at it when Grandpa told me to hurry up and drink it before the ice cream melted. His gruff voice sounded like an angel's. "Is this really mine?" He nodded. Words can't describe how awesome it was. I'd never tasted anything like root beer before. The creamy sweetness of the ice cream made my entire head feel light. I felt like the luckiest boy in the whole world. That's not an exaggeration. I really thought that. The root beer float was delicious, but what made me even happier was Grandpa. When I looked over at him, he was smiling. I know that's gotta be hard for you to imagine, but he really was. Right then, I didn't care whether he'd just found me and adopted me or not. He'd bought me a root beer float. That made me way luckier than some kid who had a mother but had never tasted root beer. course, after we left the bar, he was the first kid I bragged to. So Grandpa and I were doing pretty good until the fight. I was in a super bad mood that day. I'd torn one of my shoes that morning, and some old drunk guy had yelled at me. All the junk I found was totally useless. The day was almost over and I was fed up, so I just grabbed some random trash and took it back to the house. When I showed what I'd found to Grandpa, he frowned. Why are they playing this theme? He started going through each thing I'd brought back, explaining why they were all useless. I got really mad and just yelled, "I don't care." Then he got mad and I couldn't take it anymore, so I ran away. I was pretty upset and I started thinking that maybe Grandpa had only adopted me so he could raise me to work and make money for him. After a while, I went and hid in an abandoned building, and by then I'd started to calm down and think that maybe I should go back and apologize. It had started raining pretty hard though, so I decided I should wait for it to stop. But that was just an excuse. The truth was that I was nervous. Part of me knew I'd done something wrong, but I didn't want to admit it. The rain didn't stop though, so I just sat there staring out the gloomy gray sky. I imagined Grandpa coming to get me. It kept raining all night, and he never showed up. I gave up waiting and decided it was time to go home. I was about halfway there when I heard somebody groaning. At first I thought I should just ignore it and not get involved, but I went over anyway, and it was Grandpa. He was totally soaked, and I could tell right away that he'd been there for a really long time. I yelled, and when he opened his eyes... I yelled and he opened his eyes a little bit. He smiled weakly, and he said he was glad I was safe. He'd spent all night and out in the rain looking for me. I felt awful. Grandpa had been out in the rain looking for me so long that he'd collapsed. I was horrible. He'd heard me crying in the rain, but I hadn't heard him. As I ran to get the doctor, I promised whatever God might be listening that if they would only save Grandpa, I'd never ask for another root beer float ever again. He got a really bad fever and his temperature wouldn't go down for days. The doctor said if that kept up, he'd die. If he died, then I'd be all alone. There wouldn't be anybody left to care about me. The thought of that happening terrified me. Fortunately, I must have passed some of my luck on to Grandpa, because a week later his fever finally broke. That's really good writing, the luck with the health stuff. Like, because he mentioned in the beginning, all the health situation. Sorry. I was glad he wasn't going to die, but I was also a little scared. What if he had decided he didn't want a stupid kid like me around anymore? My plan was to apologize as soon as he woke up. But when the moment came, my brain just stopped. Grandpa started to talk, and it took me a minute to realize he was apologizing. I didn't know what to think. He explained that he was an old man, and that meant he was probably going to die sooner rather than later. He was strict with me because he wanted to make sure I'd be able to make it on my own, after he was gone. But maybe he'd been a little too strict. All of the things I'd worried about had been stupid and selfish. Grandpa cared about me a whole lot. He'd been worried when I ran off, and he'd gone out into the rain to look for me. I tried to apologize, but when I opened my mouth, I just started crying. I don't think I've cried that much since I was a baby. But he just smiled and patted my head. I asked him if he'd ever regretted adopting me. His eyes got all wide and he said, "Of course not." He told me that he was looking for a really important lady, and because of that, he'd had to give up on pretty much everything else in his life. But when he took me in and started raising me, he felt like he'd gotten some of what he lost back. That was when I decided I'd stay with him forever, even if he said I couldn't. What are you laughing at? It's a sad, touching story. All right,
so
credits.
Sad.
We're seeing credits.
That's the end.
Yeah.
All right, we got an ending.
Oh, I can forward. It's Tenmyoji's ending. In Root Beer Veritas. Saw Tenmyoji's ending in VLR. So, guess what? Look at that face.
Right next to him.
Yeah.
All right, we got Tenmyoji's ending.
We sure did,
We
yeah.
finally did it. It's episode 70.
And now he's sitting next to Dio.
Yep. So hopefully we'll get a bunch of these other ones unlocked soon, because as you can see, we've done a lot in this game. A lot of it has been covered, and we know the solutions for most of the other timelines. We do need to go back down the right one there, the one that's
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's the one we're gonna do next, I think, just to really speed things up for the very end of the series.
I will just save here. Do you want to just continue?
No, we can next time.
until Ambidex game
All right.
bullying closes.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there.
That was a short ending.
Yeah, it was a lot shorter than I was expecting, but
I thought it was longer too, but I guess not.
no, it was a good story.
It's a really good
You know,
story.
it does show. I still think Tenmyoji's kind of a dick, but not as much of a dick as Dio.
Well, their faces are up there. You can
Yep.
rank them.
Yep, rank dicks in the
Yeah.
comments
I was trying to figure out how to word that. All right, next time.
next time.